Go live. Welcome back. Business scenarios solved every single day based off the Daily Drucker. Peter F. Drucker's 366 days of business, just great knowledge, right? All different approaches with business and solving problems. It's the gist of this entire playlist, if you will. So I think we're at episode 253 at this point. So banging them out like we're supposed to. And this one is just as critical. Business strengths. What are your business strengths? So there's a theory, in school, they teach you to work on your weaknesses. And I want to tell you right now, do not work on your weaknesses. Focus only on your strengths. Because if you're working on your weaknesses, all you're doing is balancing yourself out to be just like everyone else, all the other sheep, and you're average. So don't be average. Don't work on your weaknesses. Work on your strengths. And that's the key to this topic with this one is identifying your strengths. And sometimes you want to identify your strengths by asking people around you that work with you, because they can tell you your strengths and your weaknesses, and you can focus more on those things. And then you do that with also your employees, your business partners, your associates, in whatever endeavor it is that you guys have going on, right? So the goal here, right, is, if you think about it for a second, is you get all the knowledge and training and skills applied to your strengths to just set you that much further ahead of everyone else. That's really what you want to do, right? Because if you do that, then people they can't touch you. They can't reach you. You're so far out of bounds for them that they can't compete with you. And then you become that specialist, that go-to. That's exactly the goal here. So what I wanted to do is I want to read this to you, what Peter Drucker says specifically with this one, because he does give quite a few pointers when he says this. He goes, I want to kind of skip forward here. He says that shows him finally. All right. So how do I skip to here? He goes, so he's speaking about a priest, right? I'm just going to go right into what he says. And he goes, they're expected to write down their results and then what they anticipate down the road, right? So he goes 9 months later, he then gets the feedback from the actual results of those anticipations, right? This very soon shows him what he did well and what his strengths are. It also shows him what he has to learn and what habits he has to change. Finally, it shows him what he is not gifted for and cannot do well. I have followed this method myself, he says, for 50 years. So think about it. If you're doing something for 50 years, obviously it works. If you did it the first year and you kept it going, right? So he says it brings out what one calls strengths. And this is the most important thing that an individual can know about themselves. He goes, it brings out where improvement is needed and what kind of improvement is needed. Finally, it brings out what an individual cannot do and therefore should not even try to do, right? Which is your weaknesses. Leave it alone. To know one's strengths, to know how to improve them, and to know what one cannot do, they are the keys to continuous learning. It's exactly what I'm talking about here. So the action point here is list your strengths and steps that you are taking to improve them. Who knows what you do well? To help identify your strengths is who you want to ask questions, right? So focus on those things, focus on your strengths, build on those, and become unattainable at that point. No one can touch you. And then you are the specialist in your field. That's exactly what you want. Don't be like everybody else. See you next time.